Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to Iraq. A little bit of a tension going on between a coordinated framework supporters as well as solder supporter. But when you take a look at the size of demonstrations, there's definitely a difference between the two. It seems to me that Sauder's people are at a much larger number, but that doesn't mean nothing at the moment. But if the two continue to escalate like they are and grow in numbers, we definitely would be looking at a civil war. We don't want that in there because that'd be a huge setback for the Iraqi people, their economy, as well as getting infrastructure together. And that's the wrong direction we want them to go in. In addition to that, Obama does something I know he doesn't like, but still had to do it anyways. We'll discuss that here in just a moment. Before we get started, though, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. As you can see, gold and silver prices continue to climb up slowly and healthy. Right now is the time to buy the shine. If you're thinking about buying gold or silver, check out our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you'll get a free half ounce of silver. So another article that says that the deputy for the framework signs to open channels of dialogue with the Soros movement. Wasn't it just a couple of days ago that they told us that dialogue had already been started? And now they're saying there's moves to start a dialogue? This is what I'm talking about. There is some media that slants one way, some that slants another. Unless Soros says it himself, it's kind of hard to believe anything that the media says. Meanwhile, over the last couple of days, we've had two sets of protests. Actually, there was more than that, but let's just put it this way. Protests by two sets of people. One group that supports the coordinated framework, and the other group who supports Sodders. Sodders people has taken over the parliament, and if I'm not mistaken, attempted to or did take over the Supreme Judicial Courts. And in both locations, we're complaining about the corruption that is inside those institutions, and they want the corruption gone. This article says the deputy of the coordinated framework confirmed that there are initial signs of opening channels of dialogue between the coordination framework and the Sodders movement. Now, there is another article that says that Amari has been meeting with Sodder, but Sodder has set 3 conditions, and I'm sure one of those conditions are Maliki is going to have to remove himself out of the government. So, is there open dialogue? Will it actually take place? Hopefully, calmer heads will prevail and they will avoid war altogether and get in a good government, one that has a mixture of people, just like Sodder had wanted. You can see right here, Al-Qademi calls on Sodder supporters to vacate state institutions and sends a message to the leaders. Remember, Al-Qademi is that one guy that actually gets along with all the groups. So if there's anybody out there that could prevent this civil war from happening, I think it's Al-Qademi, which is definitely interesting considering the fact that his friend was killed and an assassination was attempted a couple times on Al-Qademi, and it's believed to come from Maliki's people. So we'll see what happens there. It said the Iraqi Prime Minister Al-Qademi called on all political forces for a national dialogue by forming a committee that includes their representatives to sit in the dialogue table and draw up a roadmap for the solution. Here we are already going into August. Once August 10th hits, it would have been 10 months since the election and still no government has been formed. They're going to need to go to some type of early election or have to redo an election, something, because nothing is getting accomplished. Anyways, Al-Qademi said in a statement, Iraq is witnessing a great political tensions that threatens if wise people do not interfere with dire consequences. While he has taken all necessary measures to control the situation, maintain security, and prevent the waste of Iraqi blood, we call on all parties to calm, reduce escalation, to start an initiative for a solution on national basis. He went on to also say not to be drawn into accusations, the language of treason, and to set up hostility and hatred between the brotherhood in the same country, and to sit at the national dialogue table to reach a political solution to the current crisis under the roof of Iraqi synergy and the mechanisms of national dialogue. Academy addressing the demonstrators, I'm guessing, on both sides. Your message is clear, and your commitment to calm and organization is a duty and appreciated. And it is now time to discuss the mechanisms for launching a reform project agreed upon by the various national parties. And I am sure that in Iraq there is enough rationality and courage to move forward with a project. So again, if the one person that can actually probably bring peace is Al Qademi, but that would be definitely interesting to see, considering the types of moves we saw from the coordinated framework against Al Qademi. So as I was saying, there's two sets of demonstrations: ones that support Sadr, who've taken over the parliament, and then you have what's called the tire protesters, which are protesting just outside the green zone, and these people do support Maliki and the coordinating framework. Now, one group of protesters has already broken up and went home, and that would be the coordinating frameworks protesters, where Sadr's people are still, as of the moment of this video, in parliament demanding change, and they want Sadr to be announced as the leader of Iraq. The other one person that might be able to bring calmer heads to the table would be Amari. So he has been meeting with Sadr, and as I stated, there are a couple demands from Sadr. So Sadr and Amari have a relationship together. The Sadr's movement demands Amari withdraw from the framework, prevent treachery. There's no dialogue with those who threaten to kill. And of course, Sadr is talking about him, that Maliki threatened to kill him. So Amari, who's the head of the Al Fatah coalition, to formally withdraw from the coordinated framework, and that was the request from Sadr. Amari issued a new call to the Sadrist movement and the coordinated framework for restraint, warning that mass mobilization may get out of control and lead to violence. It's a civil war, if it does. I understand through your statement that you are not part of the framework, knowing that you are the pull of the mill, and as long as you demanded for them and were not satisfied with the entry of part of them with the current in the formation of the government previously. You gotta love the way they translated that. Your speech should be for the framework and not for the movement. We are not the ones who ask for blood and sedition. Hear the speeches of your allies in the framework. Either you announce your withdrawal from them, or you're still with them, the framework of the strife they want. We in our leadership think well of you, but killing people on half situations. And how do you ask us to have dialogue with someone who threatens a national leader, a political leader, a master, a descendant, and the heir to al-Sadr's approach? How do you accept them to engage in dialogue with someone who threatens to kill them? Yeah, that makes it just a little tough. So Amari definitely is going to have his hands full along with Al Qademi. You guys let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that's possible? Do you think that Amari or Al Qademi or both of them together are going to be able to get through to these leaders and calm things down? Do you think that's even possible? U.S. operations killed Al-Qaeda leader al-Zawahiri in Afghanistan. So the CIA had to do a drone strike because if he doesn't do something that pleases the Democratic voters or the citizens here, lame duck term for him. Nothing is going to get accomplished once the Republicans are in there. As a matter of fact, they can look forward to most likely impeachments of both the president and vice president on the actions that they have taken since being in office. So we need to do something to please the base, and what did we do? A U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan this weekend killed al-Zawahiri, who took over as al-Qaeda's leader after Osama bin Laden's death in the U.S. raid. President Joe Biden was set to announce the killing on Monday, delivering a significant counterterrorism win 11 months after the Biden administration abandoned the people over there in Afghanistan after 2 decades of war. The strike was carried out by the CIA, of course, who confirmed by 5 people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity, set to brief the American people on the details. So it looks like they killed a holy man. Isn't that right? Isn't that what they called the other two terrorist leaders that were killed by Trump? Holy man, family man. So is that what we're going to call this guy? Let's see if they do the same thing. Do they call him a holy man, a family man, and they complain about his assassination? That's what they did to Trump. So there you have it. Al Qaeda's new leader after Osama bin Laden was taken out by a drone strike. Anyways, that's it for now. Let's hope calmer heads prevail. It's really starting to look like the world is going to war with one another. And so, what do you think about Al Zawahiri being taken out? You know, the holy man, the family man. Yes, of course. I'm being facetious here. We know he's a terrorist leader. I just think it's funny how when Obama does it, it's okay, but when Trump did it, it's not okay. But yeah, you knew something big had to happen because the Democrats are behind, even in their own polls. Let me know what you think down below. I look forward to it. I'm out.